Happy Sunday. Hopefully, everyone's having an awesome Sunday, ready to tackle the work week. Unfortunately, my co host isn't able to make it. He's here in spirit, though, but he's not able to make it. We could probably discuss that next Sunday. Hopefully, he'll be ready. With that being said, the show must go on. And we're going to go ahead and start off as I always do with the stream notes. Let's see here if I remember how to do this. Really? There we go. Excellent. So, I just wanted to talk about the sub count. The sub count is at 67 subscribers. Thank you. Thank you, everyone that has subscribed. It really means a lot to me. I'm pretty sure if Johnny Utah was here, he would pretty much say the same thing. So I do appreciate everyone liking, everyone commenting, everyone that's sharing my content to help me grow because I want this to be a community, not just me. So yes, anything that happens is onto you. I mean, this is. I mean, I'm going to keep going, regardless if I get one viewer or 100 viewers, or even a million viewers, just because I find this interesting. So I want to say, excellent, excellent. Thank you for subscribing. It really means a lot for me. So the next thing we're going to talk about the market crash that might be coming. Now I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube breaking down the China financial situation, and that might actually have some impacts here in the United States and have worldwide implications. Let's hope not. I don't know if I'm going to be talking about the raid on Trump. This is something I kind of want to talk with Johnny Utah about. So I'll probably skip that one since I don't really have any stories up. But from what I could tell, there's really no new information other than the Attorney General saying that he approved the raid. Um, the optics of it makes it look to be very political, but we'll see what comes up of it. And of course, the next thing on the line is going to be the AISD, which is the Austin Independent School District, has a $2.44 billion bond, aka tax increase. So if you live in Austin, you might want to look into this bond to see if you really want to do this or not. Um, I'm going to vote no on it, only because I'm getting tired of being. I don't know how to say this, but I'm just going to say I'm getting tired of feeling the full effect of the burden that's funding the school district and other school districts through Robinhood. So let's go ahead and get to the first story. Now, of course, this is a opinion piece. Did you see what they said after the stock market crash in 1929? The economy is sending mixed signals, but consumer credit card debt is climbing, and that's a bad thing. Theo, I would highly suggest that you stop putting everything on your credit card. Start paying it off. Seriously, just start paying off your credit card. Don't open up any new credit lines of credit and get your debt under control. Because when the market crashes, I don't know what's going to happen. But at least you can be debt free. Readers of the New York Times must have felt relieved on the morning of November 15th, 1929, barely 2 weeks after historic stock market crash, to read a summary of the Department of Labor latest monthly employment report. American industry is fundamentally sound and undisturbed by recent financial upheavals, it said. The stock market break has not caused a reduction of employment, and it might bring more money into the industrial development. We know how that turned out. The market the market had crashed on October 28th through the 29th, and that was just the beginning. By 1932, it would have lost, caused them to run run on them. That's right. Let's see here. Does that show up? I'm curious. That does not show up. Just curious. So, like I said, Johnny Utah is here in spirit. He says, "Don't have too much cash sitting in the banks because that will cause a run on them." Another good, really is there's really no safe bet when the market crashes. Okay, so the market crash on October 28th, 29th, that was just the beginning. By 1932, it would have lost 89% of the pre-cash value. It would have been 12 years before the economy picked up again as the nation united to fight World War II. The market wouldn't reach the pre-cash peak until November of 1954. Nothing about the economy in the late 1929 was sound and undisturbed. The assessment of the pundits and the government officials aren't always reliable. You know, it doesn't matter if you watch CNN or Fox, take it with a grain of salt when it both comes to financial advice and political news. You gotta make your own opinion. Today, America is not expected an earth shattering stock market collapse. Maybe, I don't know. It has been more like a constant trickle kind of the way the Mississippi began as it trickles out into Lake Itasca in northern Minnesota. At the end of June, the S&P 500 index have lost 20% of the year or for the year, while Nasdaq lost almost 30% and the Dow Jones Industrial Average is nearly 15%. All of them have rebounded back since, but are still well below their January levels. Yikes. And yet the economy is sending mixed messages or mixed signals. It's part of my little dyslexia going on. As the Associated Press reported recently, it was caught in an awkward, painful place, and it's a confusing one too. Ever since the pandemic, markets did crash pretty hard once the government shut down all of the country. But it's kind of rebounded since then, and I don't know. Hindsight is always easier than trying to guess what will happen next. But yet, sometimes you gotta take the experience of hindsight and take all that knowledge and maybe make a predictable future. I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm being told by Johnny Utah, blame it on the bug. No, it's Putin. It's Putin's market crash. Then it's Trump's fault. Oh, it's never Biden's fault. Let's see here. Hindsight's much easier than trying to guess what will happen next. It's officials in the late 20s missed the coming tsunami of misery. Today's observers are merely confused, but for consumer confusion and for the reason for caution and prudence. Unfortunately, the opposite seems to be happening. In a new study by the Federal Bank Reserve of New York Center for Microeconomic Data found that America increased their credit card balance and accumulate 13% year over year. Stop charging everything. In the second quarter, credit card debt rose by 46 billion in that quarter alone, which is one of the highest increases since 1999, according to Fortune. Stop using your credit card. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. Stop using your credit card. I know if you're young, they come fast and easy. And the next thing you know, you're going to be in debt that you never think you could pay off, but you can pay that off. It just requires discipline. For those under 25, credit card balances rose by 30%, and it went up by 25% for people with low credit scores, Fortune said. If you're interested, Utah has the 18th highest credit card debt in the nation, according to personal finance website Wallet Hub, in the medium debt of $2,225. That is really nothing in the whole scheme of things. You could pay that off, just stop adding more to it. And within about 4 or 5 months, you could get that paid off. And don't pay the minimum. Never pay the minimum. Always pay more than the minimum to pay that off quicker. Expert says inflation is to blame. People are covering higher prices for gas, food, and other items with their plastic wands. Yikes. Thanks, Putin. Thanks, Trump. Thanks, the bug. It's not Biden's fault. It's not Biden's inflation. It's not Biden's recession because we're not in a recession. I'm on the plan if you cannot pay in cash for you. Oh, you don't need it. Yeah, if you can't pay in cash, then you don't need it. Yes, that's a definitely good plan to have, and it builds your credit. Now, I'm not going to be totally crappy on credit cards because I currently have one credit card, and I look at the balance that I have in my bank account, and if I could afford it, I'm going to put it on the credit card, and once that credit card hits my bank, I actually pay it off within a couple of days. Mostly I'm buying ammo, but can't have too much of that now. For now, anyway, this is the strategy that's working for morningconsultant.com. Says our balance sheets are looking good. Figures from the Federal Reserve shows that the net wealth of the share of disposable income is near a record high. I'm going to call it BS. I live a very, very, very poor lifestyle, and my disposable income is not that high. Now, keep in mind, I am paying off my property that I purchased. That has definitely cut a lot into my disposable income. And the household debt as a share of total assets is at the lowest level in nearly 5 decades. But that's just another aspect of today's economy confusion. The nation just recorded the second straight quarter of negative economic growth, which is one benchmark of a recession. However, the Labor Department said in July was a banner month for employment, with companies adding 528,000 new jobs. Still, many tech industry companies are laying off workers, as retailers such as Walmart. Definitely a mixed messaging. Let's see. Yeah, we're almost done with this one. Let's see. Inflation is higher than it's been in 40 years, which has led the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates. And every increase in interest rates make it much harder to pay off credit cards or to buy a house. Now, I know this is a really sticky topic. I think everyone deserves a home, but a home doesn't have to be a house. Oh yeah, Johnny Utah is reminding me of what the press secretary says. They also said that the inflation is back down to 0% because it was like 5.9 or 6 point something, and it went down to 5.8. So the press secretary said it was at 0%. You can't even trust the government, to be truthful with you. And yet consumers are spending remains strong. Today, we're seeing consumer resorts to credit cards to help cover expenses in the face of higher prices in consumer staples such as food, gasoline, and housing. Banish Boni Doltra, associate professor of finance at the University of Denver, told the Wallet Hub, I expect this trend to continue until inflationary pressure eases, or until the payments gets too high or the jobs disappear. It's nice to have the luxury of 90 years of history with which to view a single horrible wrong prediction about the economy and the start of the Great Depression. We don't have that with today's economy. No one knows for sure what's coming. That just isn't a good time to rack up credit card debt. And I agree. I agree that if you could avoid it, don't put it on a credit card. Only get things you have cash for. And I know sometimes it's hard, especially with gas prices being high, food prices being high, drug prices being high, insurance being high pretty much all over, rents increasing. It's easy to get into the cycle, just put it on the credit card and tell yourself that you're going to pay it off, and 4 or 5 years later, you're still paying just the bare minimum. I get it. It's not easy. But with all possibility, try to pay off your credit card because I don't know what's coming. I don't think anybody knows what's coming. There's some people that are saying the sky is falling, while others saying we're just going to be just fine. Or it could be somewhere in the middle. So with that being said, I mean, this would be a good time to talk to my co-host, but unfortunately, he's only here in spirit and only in text where I could only see it. But I'm pretty sure he would probably say something that he agrees with me. I'm pretty sure on that. So of course we got the next one, which is more local to Austin, and since I'm in Austin, it really does affect me. When we want to talk about a recession, you want to talk about debt management. The last thing you want from your government is to spend more. But I guess that no longer applies in today's world where we're in a recession, so they're just going to go further in debt and they're going to put that burden onto the taxpayer. Taxpayers, you and I, or you and me. At a certain point, when does taxation become theft? In Austin, Texas, the Austin Independent School Board of Trustees have approved a $2.44 billion bond package that, if passed, will provide ample funding to enhance safety and address affordability. You're going to address affordability by increasing taxing. Don't see how that's a winning combination. It additionally focuses on equality and other campus benefits. The bond package will appear on November 8th ballot, and if approved by the voters, it will also improve athletics, fine arts, and career and technical education facilities throughout Austin Independent School District high schools. New buses will be replaced with ones, or will replace old ones without air conditioning, and students and teachers will receive new computers and tablets. Apparently, that's the thing where if you have a student in the Austin Independent School District, they have to have a laptop or a tablet in order to go to school. And if you can't afford one, one will be given to you as a taxpayer dime. At least they're fine as doing some maintenance on the buildings, but yet they already have money for maintenance. I thought that was like the bond that we passed 2 or 3 years ago was for maintenance. That's what Johnny Utah said in chat. It seems like more squandering. Our goal is to have the highest paying school district in Central Texas, said Austin ISD interim superintendent Anthony Mays. To accomplish this, we must reduce the burden of our aging facilities and our general operation budget. The 2022 bond priorities include security improvements such as installing secure entry vestibules at every campus, adding new security fencing, and upgrading doors and locks. Renovating 26 aging facilities at 8 high schools, 5 middle schools, and 13 elementary schools. Address systems and facilities with critical deficiency, repair HVAC, plumbing, roof, and other chronic maintenance issues. Athlete improvements include undergrad turf or upgraded turf, not undergrad, upgraded turf, lighting and seating at ASID, high school athletic facilities, expand career and technology education spaces, build up permanent facilities for the CTE classes to replace smaller portable buildings. Yeah, those portable buildings turned out to be permanent facilities. Uh, If the bond passes, Austin Independent School District Board of Trustees will lower the overall tax rate by 6.5 cents in this school year and an additional 3 cents in the next school year. So you're just taking a loan out on future taxes. So you're going to increase the taxes this year and you're going to say that you're going to lower taxes. I don't see how spending more. This is just taking on credit, and hopefully there's no interest rate. I don't exactly understand what's wrong with Austin. Austin seems to want to raise taxes, not just Austin, but Travis County in general. They just want to raise taxes, raise property values, and it's going to drive a lot of people away from Austin. Unfortunately, as people leave Austin, there's enough people moving in to fill in the spaces. So, although the housing market has cooled off, my next door neighbor was selling their house. I think it was on the market for about 3 or 4 months, and now it's on the market for renting. I think it's like 2,000 a month, roughly around there. But even rent's going to go up, and there's going to be a breaking point, and I don't know what that breaking point is, where people are going to move out of Austin because it's not affordable. Rent's going to keep on going up. Property values are going to keep on going up, which means property taxes are going to go up. And the only thing that's going to be left is the uber rich people, and all the middle class people are going to leave, which is not going to be able to fund the Housing First initiative or the homeless shelters or the people paying very little to no taxes because they're on assisted living, because all that is being funded by the middle class. And if there is no middle class here, then it's just going to be the extremely poor and the extremely rich. And I don't think the extremely rich are going to be able to afford the extremely poor. That's housing diseficient people. That's what Johnny Utah said. The homeless is offensive. No, no, no. Get it right. It is the unhoused people or the unhome people. No, a homeless person is a homeless person if they're living on the street. Don't don't let it distract you from the part that they're without homes. It's tragic, but I don't see a way around this because if people are constantly going to be leaving, then people are going to constantly be leaving, and there's going to be a breaking point before it all crashes and there's not enough rich people to pay for these. So I got nothing else. I was kind of hoping my co-host would join so we get at least an hour, but I pretty much went through the two topics that I wanted to talk about. Hopefully next week, Johnny Utah will be here and we'll be do a little bit longer podcast. But I think this is a good amount. I mean, for one person. So if you're watching, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. For those that are going to watch this after the fact, thanks for watching. Make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button on any of all platforms that you see this on, or just the platform that you're currently watching on. That being said, let's have an awesome week. This week is going to be the best week of your life. And just have an awesome week.